What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, managing editor, FightfulWrestling.com. It is July 15th, 2019. We have WWE Raw to talk about. But hey, maybe you don't want to talk about Raw. Maybe you want to talk about Extreme Rules. Well, we had a post show for that. Maybe you want to talk about All Elite Wrestling. We had a post show for that. We're going to have post shows every week for their TV. I don't know how that's going to all unfold because this fall is going to be wild. But we're going to have all that too. But we have reviews for Ring of Honor, NWA, Beyond, NXT, UK 205 Live. Just scoot on over to FightfulSelect.com, our premium service, and subscribe. That's the most direct way to support what we do here. This past weekend, you saw Jeff Hawkins, you saw Warren Hayes, you saw myself, you saw LaToya Ferguson, and this man, Alex Pawlowski. Alex, how you doing, man?
Good, hooray for predictability. Let's run with the SummerSlam card that has rematches and uninspiring title programs. Yay.
Reminder, guys, Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, the Fightful MMA podcast. I did not do one after UFC Sacramento. On nights, if there are like AEW shows or something of the like, those are probably going to take precedence over UFC fight nights, with the exception of maybe pay-per-views and stuff. But no post-show again this Saturday. We do cover these events in full every Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Fightful MMA podcast. Tune in. But you all are here to listen to us talk about Raw, for better or for worse. Leave us a thumbs up if you're watching live on YouTube. Subscribe, whatever platform you're on. We started off with Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. I almost said Paul Lesnar and Brock Heyman. That would be interesting. Did you see all the dummies online that thought that Brock Lesnar's son was at the Performance Center?
No, I did not.
It was hilarious. It was some Instagram fitness kid, and everybody was like, Sean, why aren't you reporting about Brock's son? Well, because he ain't at the Performance Center. That's why. Come on. Reminder, guys, if you all want your question read on the air or your statement read, send a super chat. Doesn't matter what amount, we will read on the air. If you want to submit as many questions as you want, subscribe to Fightful Select. My Q&A show's out this week. Kristen Ashley of Bell to Bells, make sure you guys check that out, says, I'm here for select scoops and Jaded Alex. Well, those are two things we guarantee every single night. And we might guarantee that my backdrop might fall on me by the looks of it. It's looking shady. It's looking shady right now. But Heyman says that he made good on his promises, runs down tonight's Battle Royal. Now, there's a few things worth mentioning in this Battle Royal. Daniel Bryan was in an early graphic that was released of this.
Oh, really?
Yes, was later changed. Also, WWE had released a video where it seemed like Big E was speaking after the fact and implying that he had just won the Battle Royal. Needless to say, both of those were down.
Yeah.
Heyman says that in the ring, everyone is Brock Lesnar's bitch. And there's really not a lot to approach about this promo, Alex. It was just a little bit of gloating, harmless. The most noteworthy thing about this was Ricochet's music hitting and Brock Lesnar standing and watching. That, whether it be foreshadowing or just, hey, let's get this guy out here real quick, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, there have been some reports that Paul's really, really high on Ricochet and wants to give him a mega push. Basically having his guy, there with him when Ricochet comes out, if that's part of it. Interesting. They love to do these little teases and then never pay them off to get people talking about stuff that they have no intention of ever doing. So yeah, interesting. Could be fun. The one thing I did like about the actual promo itself was Heyman's tongue-in-cheek. I don't know if you heard, but I'm the guy with all the stroke around here. So I set up this Battle Royal. I liked that detail because it honestly kind of explains why a lot of these guys were in this Battle Royal. If Paul is setting up guys who are going to challenge his client for the title, of course he would put in Rey Mysterio, who got jobbed out last week. I mean, and also you could say, but no, I put him in because look at his long, illustrious career. And people would say, like me, what are you talking about? Like he got jobbed out last week. How is that guy in this top 10?
Hey, I was wondering.
Top 10 includes that guy.
I was wondering why Cesaro was in this and not Aleister Black. But that point that you just mentioned, explains it. I mean, Cesaro was a Paul Heyman guy, but then
4 of your top 10 lost via pinfall last night.
We needed Curtis Axel in there, though.
Yeah, that's true.
He was a Paul Heyman guy at one point.
That's true.
Hannah Moore, one of our great mods, thank you for the super chat, says Big Baller with my Wrestle Rumble winning. She won $500 on Wrestle Rumble. My God. Look at her just throwing it around, peeling them off. Hannah doesn't give a damn. This is like her equivalent of going to the strip club. It's showing up on our podcast and donating super chats. And that I appreciate. Up next, Ricochet and the Usos defeated the Revival and Robert Roode. 2 out of 3 falls. Again, this is the 8th time in 2 months we've seen the Usos and the Revival. We could do a lot worse, but hey, let's scale it back a little bit. Ricochet pins Scott Dawson right after what he calls the recoil, which is a single leg code breaker. Why?
Because it's a 2 out of 3 falls match. You got to get it out of the way early because you have to do that, Sean. Don't you understand? We can't have wrestling during commercial breaks because it's just the way it's always been for the last 4 weeks. It's the way it's always been. We can't possibly do wrestling during commercial breaks.
I just hate this so much, Alex.
Oh, me too.
The second fall goes pretty quickly, too. Scott Dawson, who wins it with a flapjack.
Yeah.
A flapjack, Alex. Now,
well, a flapjack is just an unassisted shadow machine. That's what I was talking about last night, how he can hit that out of anywhere, but Dash Wilder's got to be there to do the code breaker part of it. If Dash Wilder's not there, it's just a flapjack, but it's still a devastating flapjack.
And I'm okay with that. I mean, Hawk used to use the top rope clothesline.
That's right.
I wish Animal would have used the electric chair. That would have made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But then again, he would have to drop them flat back, and I'm not sure he knew how to do that. He just knew how to sling sons of bitches over his shoulders.
Yeah.
Ricochet mounts a really good comeback after the commercial, ends up winning with the 630. I'm not sure who got over here, Alex.
Well, nobody, because it's a 2 out of 3 falls match. It always looks...
No. I mean the aftermath, because it got even more confusing.
I see. Yeah.
The club come out and immediately get their asses kicked. Super kicked to death.
Mm-hmm.
Then Roode and Revival take over, only to get beaten up by Ricochet again.
Yes.
But then the club beat Ricochet's ass again.
Yes.
So I guess you could say the club went over. I mean, they got their asses kicked a little bit by a team that had just been through 3 falls.
Yep.
But they stood tall to end this. The match was good. The stipulation was stupid. And if I'm the club, I'm laying out everybody, not just one team.
Right. No, that's true. I with this and then the other 6-man tag, which actually involved the club later in the night, it sure looks like Heyman's like, hey, round robin 6-man tournament for no reason. Like it seems like they're setting up these little mini factions. Listen, I'm not a huge fan of Robert Roode, but him as like the guy who's the smarmy centerpiece of a Revival faction could work. Ricochet and the Usos makes total sense.
Man, it doesn't make more sense than Reigns and the Usos.
No. But they're never going to do that. So
it's
like,
a shame.
like we both want them to do that. We've been begging it for years. So it's not going to happen. Ricochet and the Usos make sense in a reality where Reigns will never be teamed with his cousins. So
hey, we begged for the club for years and we finally got it.
That's true. Now here's the thing. All of this, you're right. All the back and forth or whatever, the aftermath, it's all, a hodgepodge, except for Ricochet selling the phenomenal forearm in the most damnedest fashion I've ever seen, doing a corkscrew backflip. Like it was just nuts. He makes everyone he works with look so great because he decides, hey, how can I take this move the way no one else possibly can because they're not as athletic as I am? It's fantastic. I'm looking forward to more of this. This Ricochet AJ thing, it has a lot more legs to it.
Tell you what I'm looking forward to, guys. The next edition of Carlos Toro's Fightful Boxing newsletter. If you all are a casual fan or even a hardcore fan of boxing, check it out. It is under FightfulBoxing.com or our main site. Just pull down that drop-down menu and go to the newsletter. Every other week it drops. It is expansive. It is extensive. It is incredible. You all need to be checking that out. Carlos Toro is a name that you all should be looking at in boxing coverage. Shane Haas sent a super chat and says, speaking of the Usos and Reigns, any news on Jacob Fatu? Well, I mean, he's a big piece of MLW right now. Alex, somebody asked me a question on Fightful Select a couple weeks ago, and they said, orchestrate I think it was like a 4-team trade between like Impact, AEW, all that. And I sent Jacob Fatu to the WWE because, quite frankly, WWE can book some Samoans.
That's true.
And they can do it damn well. And Jacob Fatu is one of those guys who they're just going to, one day they will get a hold of him and they will love him. And he's just getting better and better and better. He is going to be something really good, I think. I'll pull open who I thought that I should that should like put that trade together, and I'll run it by you on like maybe tomorrow night's SmackDown show and see what you think. I think that'd be a cool little exercise to go through. The Viking Raiders defeated some jobbers. Come on, guys. You all know what's up. They crushed these jobbers. One of them sustained a shoulder injury, I'm told, Alex, which is a bummer. They probably getting paid.
Yeah, well, that's true. They do. I think it's funny. Like, we know their gimmick is that they're Vikings. I mean, they're the Viking Raiders. They were basically Vikings when they were called the War Raiders. But tonight, it really felt like Graves and Cole especially were calling it as though they were time travelers from the year 1100. Oh, the Norsemen! They've come down to the actual Vikings. They've come to pillage. It just felt like they were leaning way too hard into the gimmick. Also, I guess not everybody knows that these two guys murder people, and you have to watch them murder jobbers several weeks in a row before you can put them up against guys who are actual competition. But I'm ready to see them face somebody who's not, who doesn't look like, an extra from a high school movie.
Drew McIntyre finds Cedric Alexander backstage and gets a pretty good promo on him.
Yeah.
He says he's going to disembowel him and all this stuff, and he goes, just kidding, that's illegal.
Yeah.
But he's like, I am going to humble you. Cedric starts off aggressive in the match with a big dive, surprising Drew. Drew heaves him across the ring, really kicks Cedric's ass, does really well. I'm definitely going to believe that the botches last week were because Cedric was in a mask and in a goddamn janitor costume.
Yes.
My God. But Cedric connects midair with a dropkick and does, I think, a victory roll for a win.
Yeah. He countered the Bama Slamma, which nobody does.
Yeah. I like that. Now, if Drew just beats Cedric's ass every week and pins him over and over again, this doesn't mean a damn thing.
No.
But what do you think this does mean for each man?
Well, here's the thing. It's refreshing and also upsetting because, like, I could not be happier for Cedric Alexander, former Cruiserweight champion, the guy who at the Cruiserweight Classic who took Kota Ibushi to the limit, and the crowd spontaneously chanted, "Please sign Cedric." Like, that was a major deal. That had not happened before, and that was the initial tournament thing. And the fact that he came all the way from there, now he's on Raw, and like he kept tweeting out like, "I really miss wrestling," because he never did. Like he every time 205 Live was on, he'd always be on Twitter going, "Hey, I'd like to come back and wrestle you guys. It would be great." And now they're actually using him for something. And hot damn, he beat Drew McIntyre. That's a major deal. That's awesome. And god damn, the booking of Drew McIntyre has been piss poor since the fall. Like, that guy was white hot in like late fall. and they squandered it. They didn't do anything with it, and now he looks like a chump. I don't want that to be true, but I think both those things. So yeah, I think this does probably invariably lead to Drew McIntyre getting his heat back by beating the hell out of Cedric next week, and probably the week after, and probably the week after. So then what? What does that do? Nothing.
Pro Wrestling Sheet reported that Finn Balor is at least requested a couple of months off to recharge. He's had over 150 matches over the last year. His number of memorable promos are nowhere near that number, Alex. I would say somewhere between 0 and 1, maybe.
Yeah, well, that's true. I would also say he's had 150 matches over the course of the past year. I don't remember many of them on TV. So he's working the house show circuit, going crazy. Like he won the title at WrestleMania, and then they didn't do anything with him as the IC champ. And I wonder if that weighs on him. Like, hey, I finally got this belt. The belt that's basically made for a guy like Finn Balor to hold. And like he had some good matches with Andrade, but ultimately went nowhere. He didn't do much of anything after Super Showdown, or as we used to call it, Sands of Time.
Buy the shirt at shop.fightful.com.
Yeah, and then they kind of went nowhere. Now he doesn't have the title anymore. And I can see why he might request some time off. But if you're going to take time off, there's a great way in storyline of getting sent out of the territory.
I would agree. But he gets beaten in about a minute by Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
He's jobbed out.
Yeah, no, he gets rolled up in a weird way, like a magistral cradle, which is not a Joe specialty.
He does a great run-up headlock and then gets rolled up.
Yeah, exactly.
And I like that. I love the run-up headlock spot. But after the match, Joe beats Balor's ass and it just backfires. So what was the point?
This is what happened, Sean. Honestly, the first fall was so fast, I thought that I missed that it was a 2 out of 3 falls match. Because immediately after Joe pinned him, Joe picked him up and tried to put him in the coquina clutch. And I was like, that's interesting. Like he's trying to get a super quick 2 falls out of 3. And then Finn Balor fought back and hit the coup de grace. And I was waiting for him to try and pin Joe. And I thought he was going to get a quick pinfall at a coup de grace. Then we're going to go to commercial and come back for the 3rd fall because they've trained me to think like a crazy person.
Is coup de grace related to Gavin DeGraw? You think?
No, I don't think so. I think a coup de grace is when Gavin DeGraw is deposed by his military forces.
Well, WWE pulled a coup de grace because Bray Wyatt showed up. He made his long-awaited return. The arena went black. He showed up and he already had Finn Balor and the Sister Abigail. This was an outstanding visual with the mask on. We haven't seen his face yet.
Yeah.
Alex, what I'm looking forward to out of this, more than what I was looking forward to here, is him showing up as Andrew Thompson, one of our great writers, pointed out. He's just going to show up as the other Bray and have no clue what's going on and pretend that he doesn't. What'd you think? You've been calling for this for a while.
This was excellent. I mean, when Finn's there and his music's playing and everyone's doing the big arms thing along with his music, and then the music starts to slow down, get ominous, and then one bank of lights goes out, and then another bank of lights goes out, and then it's all dark, and then Bray's in the ring, and the lights, the strobe lights on his face, and then the lights come all the way up. Hits Sister Abigail, and he stands there. Lights go down, and then that Joker-esque laugh. This was handled perfectly. Not just the mask and the outfit and everything, but those contact lenses they got in there for him, like those things are creepy as hell. That's nightmare fuel. Like I feel bad for all the parents out there who had kids watching tonight who did not know that was coming, because that guy was creepy as hell. This is very interesting to me because remember that match he was supposed to have with Finn Balor.
Yeah.
And then he got sick and they couldn't do it. It's supposed to be like Sister Abigail versus Pumpkin Demon. And thankfully that was called off. But Bray is on Twitter tonight. He's talking to Finn Balor, and he says, like, the sickness is gone. Now we owe them that match we were going to have. It's going to be amazing.
Yes, he needs to be the first one to beat the Demon.
That's the storyline, and that's the perfect way, as I said, to send Finn off for 2 months. Is if the Demon loses to the Fiend, A, you build the Fiend. B, you allow now Finn to not have to rely on, like, anytime Finn's the Demon, I guess he wins. Now that's out, and that allows an unpredictability. And you can use the Demon more sparingly or more often or whatever, but it's the perfect way to, like, send him out for 2 months, if that's what they're going to do, and build the Fiend at the same time and move him directly into wherever he's going to go in the fall, like with a rocket strapped to his back. People loved the Fiend when he came out. They were so excited for it. So was I.
I've mentioned this before. Like, The Undertaker is a supernatural character, a horror movie character, and you can't make a supernatural character these days, because what WWE does is they turn it into an audiovisual specialist. However, Bray Wyatt can be a horror movie character.
Yes.
Personally, my favorite horror movies are the ones that I look at and I'm like, that could happen. Yeah. Crazy dude breaks into your house, shit goes down. I believe that. That's why I believe the Wyatt family. I believed a couple of crazy ass dudes hanging out in the woods because, hey, I live in Kentucky. It ain't that far from reality. I loved everything Bray Wyatt associated. There was a ton that I hated about Finn Balor on this, and it wasn't his fault. One, he got beat in a minute. Why is this fucking music playing? Pardon my French. Why is he celebrating? Why is he like, whoop, I beat up Samoa Joe. I lost. Who cares? Why would we want to see him face Bray? He's got to be the Demon because that's the only way.
Right. Here's the problem, is that you've set up this thing where wins and losses don't matter. You know how I know that? Because a bunch of dudes who lost last night are in your top 10 Battle Royal.
And because whoever you're paying to run the show on any given week is on friggin' Twitter arguing with people saying wins and losses don't really matter. Meanwhile, I mean, hey, I thought Extreme Rules, in my opinion, was way better than Fight for the Fallen. However, there were almost every match that I watched on Fight for the Fallen, I was like, okay, this matters to some degree. It matters to some degree. I don't like the 50-50ing that's going on there, but I've been told that each match is going to matter, so therefore I believe that each match is going to matter. Meanwhile, I've got a bunch of other stuff happening on this show that is just telling me nothing matters, nothing matters, nothing matters, nothing matters. And I attacked that on Twitter because if nothing matters, why should I care?
Right, exactly.
Just to see two people that I think do cool moves face each other? Well, okay. Well, then don't have your wrestlers go on Twitter and shit on independent wrestling then, because that's what it is. That's what it is. Make this stuff mean something. I want to see winners face winners. And even if they're not winners, I want to see real interesting people face other real interesting people. Bray Wyatt is real interesting. Yeah. Finn Balor is only interesting these days when he's the Demon. And I don't know whose fault that is.
Well, it's not Finn's. They're booking him like crap. They could have easily made him look really strong, even though he lost to Shinsuke, and they didn't. They I've also had him beat Samoa Joe tonight, like beat him, like actually defeat Samoa Joe. Instead, they had him lose, then quote unquote get his heat back. That's not the same thing.
I've also not seen him do a lot of great character work either, Finn.
No.
So I mean, there's nothing to get behind there.
His character is an Irish accent and a leather jacket and a pair of Speedos. That's his character. Now they're not asking him to do much more than that. In fact, they're saying don't do any more than that. That's all we want you to do.
And it's frustrating.
Yeah.
He needs to be with the club when he comes back.
That's the way to do it. That's the way to bring him back.
Honestly, I think that should be the thing. If he takes a couple months off before Survivor Series, maybe there's a little club Undisputed Era mix-up I would love to see, and then the fourth man to make those sides even. Yeah, is Finn Balor. I think that would be great. 24/7 championship, Drake Maverick and Michelle check into their hotel, or Renee Michelle. RTruth tries to pay off the clerk with $1. The Street Profits watch on, and goddamn have they made them annoying.
So
it's a waste. I do like that Angelo Dawkins has a crush on Nikki Cross.
That's a quirk. That's endearing. That's a character trait, as opposed to, hey, everybody, did you see what we just saw? Well, if you didn't, here's a recap of it. Like, that's not a character trait. That's nothing. Don't do that. That's bad.
Well, Drake is in his hotel room wearing nothing but tidy whities and the 24/7 title.
Mm-hmm.
A referee comes in to bring, I guess, bottle service or something. He's like, I recognize you. And it's a referee, of course. RTruth shows up and beats him for the 24/7 title via a cross-body press onto the bed. And if you've never done one of those, then you've never had a good hotel experience. So the best part of this is Corey Graves saying something like, the small package is Drake Maverick's undoing.
You should have utilized the small package. That's what he said. Yep.
That was phenomenal. Alex, I saw you sing the 24/7 title, Jump the Shark here, but I think this is exactly why this title exists.
Yeah, I know. It just, I'm kind of, I mean, like, the thing is, this 24/7 title shouldn't be the RTruth versus Drake Maverick title. Like, it can for a while, and now I think that part has run its course. There, as I've said many times, there are lots of other people on that level in WWE have nothing to do who would be gold with that title and creative license to do cool stuff on social media and build that up for stuff on TV. I just kind of like the one note joke of Drake Maverick loves the title more than he loves his hot wife. Like, that's played now. I'm done with that joke. You can't play it anymore. RTruth obsessing over the title and chasing it. That's great. He's great at it, but like, it gets stale. Like, I can't watch the same like comedy, even if I think it's funny, every day for a year. I can't do that. The jokes stop mattering. So there's fine.
Yeah, they got to switch it up.
They do. They really do.
Drake Maverick is still the longest reigning 24/7 champion ever, but it was all over in a matter of 3 seconds, Alex. And that's not what you want out of life. You don't want to be looking to consummate something and then 1, 2, 3, ow!
Yep. No, you don't want anything lasting only 3 seconds on your wedding night.
You don't. You want a long reign.
Yeah.
You want a solid reign. And you want your penis hard. And that's what BlueChew.com can do. BlueChew.com brings you the first chewable, the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so you know they work, whether you're in Orlando on your honeymoon, Long Island on your honeymoon, wherever the hell you are, hotel room, backstage. I don't know where you do your thing, but Blue Chew will help you do your thing. You can take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach. Since they're chewable, they work up to twice as fast as a pill, so you can be ready whenever an opportunity arises. Don't be caught off guard. Use Blue Chew. It's prescribed online, shipped straight to your door in a discreet package, no in-person doctor's visit, no waiting at the pharmacy, no more awkwardness. You don't have to have a referee there. Hey, I need you to notarize this boner. It's not happening. Right now, you can get it absolutely free. Use that code FIGHTFUL. All you got to do is pay $5 shipping. Code FIGHTFUL. Get your first shipment free. Hit them up at Blue Chew on Twitter and say, you know what? I heard about this erection stuff. Well, I'm sure you didn't hear about erections from me. If you did for the first time, first off, I'm sorry that you're hearing it from me. Now, actually, no, you're welcome. You're welcome that you're hearing it from me. BlueChew.com, code FIGHTFUL. Anthony Ace says, Renee should have pinned Maverick instead of Truth. That's what I want to see. I want to see Renee Michelle at the end of this, when Drake Maverick wins it back, she goes to consummate, and I mean, TVPG show, but she's on top of him for 3 seconds, and a ref slides in. Whoa, slides in. Different slides in, but 1, 2, 3, and she's the champion.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Zachary Schimmel says Drake Maverick uses Blue Chew. He does. He's putting it over on Twitter all the time. Hannah Moore says, what a clever idea about Undisputed Era versus the Club at Survivor Series. Yeah, I probably saw that from you, Hannah. Congratulations for all the fame. Anthony Ace asked why Carmella was in the women's top contender match. We will get to that. Zack Ryder defeated Mike Kanellis. This was Zack Ryder's first singles win on Raw since March 2016 against Chris Jericho. Maria Kanellis is backstage and says she's taking the match instead. Mike's like, what are you talking about? You're pregnant. Rough Rider, that's it. Mike is degraded afterwards. We've seen like 5 squash matches in the last 2 nights, but and anything on this, I'm of the belief that there is at least a plan or a story, but given history of WWE, I shouldn't.
No, it's hey, thanks. You guys signed a nice long contract. It's awesome. Congratulations, Mazel Tov, on you being pregnant, Maria. We're going to bury you, Mike, like no one's ever been buried before. But you're in a contract now, so you got to take it. Like, honestly, if that's what's going on, like that makes a lot more sense. And I think it's a lot more likely than here's a great long-term story we're going to tell around this whole pregnancy thing. Like, I don't know. Like, it just doesn't seem like what they normally do. But let's wait and see. Currently, this just seems like it's sadistic. Like what this feels like, you know, I don't know. I certainly don't relish these segments every Monday.
I would call these transitions in a commercial sadistic, and that is what happened.
Yeah.
They used Ricochet attacking AJ Styles as an excuse to restart a match between the Club and Lucha House Party. And I like this use of Lucha House Party. They're not doing anything else on Raw, so why not? The Club needed a win, but Lucha House Party really got some shine here, Alex. They controlled the majority of the match, it felt like.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's. I don't know. I mean, I feel like you want to make sure that AJ and the Club look strong, but Lucha House Party should be made to look not like utter incompetent fools. They should be made to look like they know what they're doing as well. So I think that there's a way to get them, you know, to look halfway decent before they ultimately lose. Otherwise, whenever they come out on stage to go down for a match, we go, oh, these guys are going to lose the match, and then it's no fun to watch because it's kind of a foregone conclusion.
So yeah, that happened. The restart just really pissed me off. I was just like, really? My only other notes on it, well, I had a few notes. Dorado doing a springboard stunner, I'd probably take that out of the arsenal right now, considering
that's not his move right now.
Yeah, and I get it, he's done it for a while, but just do the right thing. Kalisto went like 100 miles an hour in this match and looked awesome doing it.
Yeah.
Anderson stayed with him, didn't pin after the spine buster, which was weird. Styles holds onto the calf crusher after the win, and they did dastardly heel stuff.
Yeah,
this was a good win for the Club. I feel like it should have been more dominant, but I'm okay with it not being, because if you beat the shit out of Lucha House Party too much, then what are they?
Right. I mean, again, they're doing these things with trios right now tonight, doing enough with them to make me think that there's going to be a 4 corners trios match next week. Like Heyman just saying, hey, let's eat up some time with all these guys going crazy, doing crazy stuff, you know. And honestly, the trios that they have this established tonight, I wouldn't be opposed to watching that match. It could be a lot of fun.
Same. Up next was a top contender match, an elimination match. Natalya won. This went on way too long. 24 minutes, Alex.
Really bad.
And if this were a 12-minute match, 13-minute match, we'd probably be talking about this being a really good match.
Or at least not being bad.
They gave the hard sell on Naomi because she's never on TV or never wins anymore. Becky Lynch showed up. Nikki Cross is at ringside with Alexa. For some reason, Carmella's in this match. Why? She's a SmackDown wrestler. Sarah Logan's not in this match. Dana Brooke's not in this match.
Because nothing matters, Sean. Because wins and losses don't matter. The wild card rule doesn't exist anymore. Now it's just people from SmackDown can be on Raw. Cross brand. That's what it is. It's the cross brand.
And Alicia Fox hasn't been back since like the week that she returned. So
yeah.
She missed 2.5 months, then hit the bricks for another 3 months, I think it's been. But this match, oh boy, that Carmella pinning everybody's spot went on way too long.
I mean, that's the kind of thing where like we're short like 2 minutes. Carmella, can you do this thing where like you're pinning everybody and getting really frustrated? Okay, cool. Not we're running 5 minutes long. Let's add this to this thing too. Jeez, it was
So Alexa Bliss rolled up Alexa Bliss rolled up Carmella, rather. Commercial mid-match after Alexa and Naomi exchange. We come back and see the 3 remaining competitors like awkwardly squaring off.
Yep.
Naomi got some good offense in, a blockbuster to the floor, bulldog in the corner. Natalya did a spinning power bomb, but Naomi, they sold me a ticket there. I thought Naomi was getting pinned when Alexa pinned her as well, and Naomi kicked out of both of them. That was great. I love that spot.
Now, my favorite spot was the one where I think Natty had Naomi up in the surfboard, and Alexa like slid in and pinned Natty while Natty had Naomi way up in the air, and then Natty kicked out of that. I thought that was really clever. I liked the idea of Alexa just being like hanging out on the outside and trying to run in and secure a quick pinfall to get victories. I think that goes along with her character.
About 17 minutes in, we get "This is awful" chants. Well, you had Alexa Bliss, who lost 2 consecutive title matches, including a 2-on-1 match. Naomi, who is never on TV. And I mean, let's be fair. Naomi's had her runs before. She's been she's won Battle Royals.
She continues to be a fan favorite, even though they never utilize her.
Yeah, she's won the Battle Royal, the WrestleMania Battle Royal. I think she won the title at WrestleMania in her hometown. She's a multiple-time champion. Done a lot of stuff. Carmella had an extended run.
Yep.
And I don't want to say maybe the most over in the match because Alexa Bliss is perpetually over at the very least. And Natalya, who is one of the most inconsistently used wrestlers, period. Like, she's either overexposed or completely ignored. You'll have that. Natalya pins Naomi. Another break, 22 minutes in. Nikki gets the crowd into it after the break. And this is not me reporting something. This is a hunch. I'm assuming that Vince McMahon was like, God damn, give her a mic, make her get the crowd into it. And fortunately, Nikki did. She told the crowd to shut up and to cheer for Alexa Bliss, which is a contradiction, Alex, but perfect for this spot.
Yeah, it makes sense. It was just I don't know if it had the exact desired effect. It just made people angry that the match continued to not do anything while Nikki was yelling at them for not liking the match, which they didn't like.
WWE has just 50-50'd and ignored so many of their women's wrestlers. Natalya wins with the sharpshooter after she clotheslined Nikki on accident. Cuts I thought a pretty nice promo afterwards about how important this match is going to be for her. Becky Lynch gets in her face, says that Natalya's career needs her. Didn't say a lot that most people weren't thinking. So, I mean, that's in key with Becky Lynch. But then Natalya immediately goes into the "I'm going to kick the hell out of you, bitch" type of stuff. And I'm like, all right, well, it sounded very soap opera-ish. I would not have minded if they referred to Natalya being buddies with Ronda Rousey. Some of that stuff, like let's go there. Why not?
Yeah, sure.
But
yeah.
The when, to be honest with you, I don't really buy it when Natalya calls anybody a bitch, because she's like the nicest person ever.
Oh, sure. She absolutely is. She's also somebody that I have said, and it continues to be, someone I don't really enjoy watching, like in a title program. Certainly, it just doesn't feel like it's never exciting to me. She's incredibly competent and even technically great sometimes, but she's a dead fish. Like I don't feel anything when I watch her matches. The thing, the overarching thing about all of this is that Becky took an end of days last night, and that took her out of the rest of the goings on when Brock comes down and everything. That's fine. But the way the commentary and Seth Rollins were selling it as though this woman, she's only a woman. She's so frail. She took a face bump last night, and we're honestly shocked and surprised that she showed up for work today. I mean, that's just amazing to me. This woman took a finisher from a man. You know, she's only a woman, Sean. And how could she possibly take a finisher from a man and show up the next night? Like, the end of days wins matches. It does not injure people. It never has in the past. Like, that's not a thing that has happened. It's just a weird flex for them to be like, now Becky showed up, so she's a hero. It's a weird thing. And they're pairing her with Natty, and those feuds that Natty has never really get over. And it's like, it feels like they're, if I didn't know any better, I'd say they're intentionally cooling off Becky Lynch. It doesn't feel right to like have her. This is the second most important pay-per-view of the year, and she's going into a feud with Natty that really came out of nowhere and nobody's really jonesing for. You know, it's just weird.
Wild Boy asked, were Natty and Ronda ever supposed to feud? Yeah, I think briefly, but I believe the passing of Jim Neidhart got in the way. Somebody says the only reason Natalya's getting this is because it's in Toronto. Now, there's a little bit of credibility to that because of Canada, but you guys know it's 2,000 miles from Calgary, right? That's like saying, well, they're getting the shot. This guy from Buffalo is getting a shot in Seattle because the same country. I get it. The Hart family and Canada, sure, but I don't know if there was a better option, considering Nikki Cross just had a shot, Alexa Bliss just had a shot. I don't know if there was a better option, all things considered, and that ain't a great thing. Let's talk about a weird segment, Alex. Miz TV. Miz brings out Dolph Ziggler for some reason that Miz doesn't even know.
Dolph Ziggler requested this time. Where does Dolph Ziggler get off requesting any time from anyone ever? Like,
he really targets the Miz about his career and pandering and his shirts. He's like, Miz, you're everything that you don't want to be. You're not even from Hollywood. Well, yeah, you're from Cleveland. It's gritty. Well, we know he's a Cleveland sports fan. We watch his show. Yeah. But Ziggler brings up Miz's wife and gets attacked. Now, here's the thing, Alex. A few years ago, they had a real good feud.
Red hot.
But it was over the Intercontinental title.
Yep.
You ain't making me care about this without that title belt.
No, and the thing is that feud was great 3 years ago, and it was built really, really well. And Miz was the heel, and Ziggler was the face, and it was a really, really, really great feud.
It was also right around the time that Miz cut one of the greatest promos in wrestling, period.
It made him super hot, and Ziggler had just been given that title match versus Dean Ambrose when they were like, hey, SmackDown's a brand new show now. We're gonna throw crazy things out there. Ziggler gets a title shot. And out of that, after he lost, then he moved to this thing with The Miz. Both of them had tremendous forward momentum at the time. Both of these dudes are not just treading water, they're sinking like stones. Miz had a feud with Shane McMahon with all the motivation in the world to get over. They didn't let him get over, and now he looks like a chump. And I'm sorry that he does, but he does. Like, he can't beat Elias in a 2 out of 3 falls match to get a match with Shane. And I don't even know if the Shane Miz thing is even happening anymore, because it appears as though they've moved him on to Dolph Ziggler, and Dolph Ziggler just lost a match to Kevin Owens in 17 seconds after losing over and over and over and over again to Kofi Kingston. Neither of these guys have any forward momentum. You cannot make me care about this feud. I dare you. You're not going to do it.
What I want is Miz and Dolph Ziggler teaming together, for better or for worse. One a babyface, one a heel. I'm cool with that too. I would like that, where they share their tendencies a little bit. That's something a little bit different. We don't see that. That would make me interested, because I would love to see Ziggler and the Miz against the Revival or the Usos. What I don't want to see is them against them 8 times in 2 months, though. Damn. Main event time, top contender battle royal. I'll give WWE credit. Predictable? Yeah. But last night on this show, we both said, please at least make Seth work for it. Please at least make him earn it. And they did.
Yeah.
So Cesaro got beat by Aleister Black, but Black isn't in the match. But we covered that. Cesaro was a Paul Heyman guy.
Yep.
He got some shine, but Lashley press slammed him outside. That was an impressive spot.
It was, but it was also impressive was Cesaro just running around like hitting uppercuts on everybody.
Uppercuts.
Apricots. He's hitting apricots. He's hitting, European apricots, which are the very best apricots.
Okay.
They're extra juicy. I like them a lot.
Damn. So Strowman eliminates Lashley, Alex. Strowman has now beaten Lashley in a battle royal, tug of war, arm wrestling, a singles match, and a last man standing match.
So you know what this means? Next week, Strowman versus Lashley.
Let's get him in the monster truck gimmick that Hogan and that's what we gotta see.
No. That's if they were on SmackDown and Bischoff was running the show.
Nah, well played. Big E versus Braun. I love that face-off, Alex.
Oh, my God. I need a singles match between those two now. Big E, the last 48 hours or 24 hours at this point, like, has impressed me so much. Like, that thing that he did with Daniel Bryan last night was magical. Tonight, standing up to Big E, the Big E standing up to Braun Strowman and saying, you know what? Come on. Bring it. I mean, that's nobody does that to Braun Strowman. Not even big dudes. They don't, like, get up in his face. They can show that they're not scared of him, but Big E just like he's been playing this so well. Like I don't know if he knows he's doing this, but he's absolutely auditioning for a singles title run right now, and he's knocking it out of the park.
I am a sucker for battle royals, man, and I thought this one was a pretty good one, all things considered. Big E does the big ending on Braun. That was really insane.
Special. That was really
insane.
Special. Loved it.
Big E is a fresh guy that they can put in with everybody else.
Yep.
Because WWE has this habit, man. They get a guy like a Nakamura. They get a guy like anybody, like Finn Balor. And they just do the matches to death to the point where nobody cares about them.
Right.
And usually what they do is they do the match to death. Then they come up with creative stuff towards the end of it. Instead of the opposite. Coming up with creative stuff that makes you want the matches. I want to see Big E against a lot of these people. He gets eliminated by Zayn after an RKO, but then Sammy gets tossed after an RKO and a 619. Reigns turns Orton around, welcomed with an RKO as well. Baron tosses out Ray. I think that was the right move for Baron because he needs that heat, but it's down to Braun, Baron, Rollins, Orton, and Reigns. And Corbin gets eliminated, and the first thing that I noticed, I was like, okay, Brock's faced all these guys. And that's kind of a bummer for me.
Yep.
But Strowman sidesteps and causes Reigns to spear Rollins. I loved that.
I thought that was great. I was hoping it was going to lead to something within the match, but...
Well, it kind of did. And
kind of.
Roman Reigns, man, he sold the hell out of that. He was like...
Yeah, he did.
He did such a good job there.
He did.
Being like, damn, I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah.
Rollins, though, comes up and eliminates both Strowman and Reigns. So
yeah,
I wonder.
I like that. Yeah.
I'm interested to see how Reigns reacts to that next week. An eye for an eye or all fair. We'll see how that goes. Orton reappears. They go back and forth, but Rollins is able to stomp and eliminate Orton. Rollins gets his rematch, so technically, since WrestleMania, between WrestleMania and SummerSlam, he'll have faced Baron Corbin 3 times on pay-per-view and Brock 3 times on pay-per-view. Now, granted, the first 2 Brock matches weren't matches. There were some wild things that went on there. This will be, I guess, maybe the first real one-on-one match between the two that goes bell to bell, I presume. How do you feel about it, Alex?
I mean, you know, as we said last night, they were definitely, felt like they were definitely going to do a Rollins versus Brock at SummerSlam. We just wanted them to figure out a way of doing it. And they found a really convoluted way of doing it, including a whole bunch of people in a battle royal that we thought, well, this is interesting and new and different. Maybe they don't deserve, quote unquote, to be in this battle royal, but it'd be interesting. And then they sold me a ticket to Big E, possibly being a dude who's belongs in that conversation. I mean, I'm just thinking now about the promos that Big E cuts on Brock Lesnar for a month, if he's the #1 contender, and they've already shown that guys who are in the New Day, and you think of just tag wrestlers, absolutely can win the major titles on their show. Like, that's a possibility, but instead we just go to Rollins, and that's fine, I guess. But the weird thing about it is Rollins being so angry at Brock for cashing in on him, like Seth didn't cash in on Brock years ago. Like, that's what the briefcase is. It never makes any sense to me with the champion like personally holding a grudge against the dude who cashes in on him when that's the whole point of the briefcase. If you're the champ and the briefcase is out there, you're getting cashed in on. That's just a thing that's going to happen. You can't hold it against the dude who cashed in on you. You can say, I want my title back, but you'd be like, how dare you cash in the briefcase on me? It's a weird thing to do.
It is. Lesnar is there. Heyman takes shots at Rollins, but yeah, I'm with you. The whole Rollins thing, being outraged about it. I'm glad that Corey Graves brought it up. Like, why? Why is he upset? He did the same thing.
Yeah.
Now, Rollins uses the worn out line. Oh, I hate it. For once in your life, shut the hell up. We have heard that so many goddamn times.
Too many times. It
is tired.
Yeah.
But he cut a pretty passionate and fiery promo after.
Yeah.
Ran or tried to get Brock Lesnar in the ring. I know that match went light, I was told. So they had some time to kill, Alex.
Yeah. Yeah. When honestly, when he won the Battle Royal so early, I thought, oh, maybe this is something new. Like, maybe they're gonna drop in something, a surprise return, something that's going to throw a monkey wrench in this whole thing and make it a triple threat or something. But no, they just cut promos on each other. That was basically it. So yeah. So now we've got this whole thing set up a month out, and next week we can just have a nostalgia for 3 hours. Yay! Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I forgot about that. The Raw reunion next week. Who all's announced for that?
Everybody. Austin, Triple H, obviously, Michaels, Hogan. Like, it's just a DiBiase.
I see Scott Hall in there too.
Yeah, Scott Hall, Nash.
His name curiously popped up. I did that thing on the WWE inactive list. There was a lot of talk of an injury list, and it's not really an injury list as much as an inactive list. It does list injuries, but it also has people that they can't use that week. Like on Fightful Select, I had that Naomi and the Usos were on vacation, that Finn was still in Ireland, that Alexa Bliss was sick. There are some interesting time frames on there that I'll maybe get into, but there was a no contact list too. And somebody took that as that me saying that, like, it meant not to contact that person.
No, yeah.
No, it was like it had Paige listed, and I was told it had a couple dozen names, but Scott Hall was on there too. And when I inquired about that, I asked about that, somebody told me, yeah, well, he's supposed to be at the Performance Center this week. So there's that. But him on the show, that's interesting. Go Indy now. Thank you for the super chat. Says, no question. Just wanted to say you guys did an awesome job covering everything this weekend. Thank you for all you do. I have a lot of people asking about like what we're going to do with AEW and all that. Well, I'm assuming, just blindly assuming that they're going to go on Wednesdays. I'm kind of excited to not have to go Saturday UFC, Sunday pay-per-view, Monday Raw, Tuesday SmackDown anymore. But we're going to be switching a lot of stuff around for that. I would imagine the MMA podcast might move because I don't want to do shows 6 days a week either. Warren's got the NXT podcast, which could mean a whole lot more in the future. I don't know if we'll keep that behind the select paywall or not. But for now, if you all want reviews of NXT 205 Live and UK, you need to be following Mr. Warren Hayes on Twitter and subscribing to Fightful Select. But then we got the Friday show, SmackDown. And as long as they treat it as an A show, we will do a post-show podcast. If it gets to the point to where it was in 2015, we will not be doing a post-show podcast for that because there will be no point.
Yeah.
It'll be a bunch of people staying home on a Friday night to talk for 20 minutes about stuff that doesn't matter and bitch about it. So we won't be doing that if it's a B show. Yeah. Assuming they make it what it's been for the last 3 years at the very least, yeah, we're doing post shows for Raw, NXT, AEW, and SmackDown. And if you guys want, I think it's Beyond, if you all want ROH, NWA, all that good stuff, Impact, subscribe to Fightful Select. We got all that stuff as well. Alex, you're back here with me tomorrow night for SmackDown.
Yeah.
The Town Hall.
Yeah, the Town Hall. That'll be interesting at least. We'll see where that goes.
See what I tweeted about that?
No.
I think that they won't do it. Now, I hate that I always have to preface this with they won't do it, but there's always some doofus in the comment. We'll never do that, you fucking mark. Always one of those guys, you know. Tomorrow would be the perfect opportunity for, in character, a wrestler to say, you know what I'm sick of, Shane? I'm sick of all these Raw superstars coming over here and taking up our screen time. We only get 2 hours of it. And then Shane, trying to keep the peace, says, you know what? Okay, we'll be more strict on that. No more wild card.
That'd be a great way of getting rid of it.
If you want to end up on the other show, you got to win the women's tag titles or the 24/7 title. Hot damn, there you go. And that's all he's got to say. How long did that take me to say, Alex?
12 seconds.
12 seconds. You raise the question, you answer the question, under 30 seconds, 45 seconds tops. Bam, you have it explained. Then you don't have to redraft everybody. Son of a bitch, man. If you need to move people around, do a trade. It ain't hard. Guys, leave a thumbs up on this video. It means a lot. It lets YouTube know what they should be showing people. Even if you don't listen on iTunes, if you all wouldn't mind going over to our iTunes page or whatever other pages that we have over there and leaving us nice reviews, that also helps. But most importantly, visit FightfulWrestling.com. Until next time, guys, we're out.